Welcome friends to another r/IDontWorkHereLady video. If you don't work here but you still want to help out, make sure to hit the like and subscribe buttons down below. That said, our first story of the day is by Nenny12. Mine is kind of adorable. I live in a region where we get a lot of visitors from colder climates. Generally, these snowbirds are older. Most seem to enjoy the cultural differences and at least attempt local cuisine. I was making a rare venture into public with my husband and baby. I was in comfy but not nice looking clothes. The store was crowded. I'm short and dumpy with ultra pale skin and freckles and frizzy brown curly hair. So all that in flip-flops in winter, because we do that here. I noticed an older cis couple standing in the produce section looking absolutely overwhelmed and confused. As an anxious person, I tend to notice people being anxious. Somehow, even though I generally avoid humans, the woman latched onto me and asked if I could help her. I said I didn't work there. She looked so flustered that I said, maybe I could help anyway? She held up some peppers and said, "Do you know what kind of chilies these are?" She sounded so stressed out and overwhelmed. I'm awkward with people in general, so I said, this is going to sound weird. I probably can help you, but can I smell your peppers? They kind of laughed and looked relieved. I sniffed them and they were jalapenos, and then awkwardly took my leave. My husband thought it was hysterical. "Can I smell your peppers?" Honestly, sometimes when confronted with strangers, I'm a bumbling, stumbling stranger too. In-person socialization is definitely not my forte. Are you the kind of person that, if presented with a total stranger, might have an episode like OP did? Or are you totally fine with talking to total strangers? Or maybe somewhere in between? Let me know about you guys in the comments down below. Our next story is by Helpful Corgi 5716. It happened to me yesterday. I quickly nipped into Tesco's to get some Christmas tree lights and birthday balloons. As I'm perusing the party section, an older lady taps me on the arm and says, "Excuse me, love, can you tell me where the glue is?" I'm wearing multicolored leggings with big fluffy socks and trainers, my massive winter coat, my hair is scraped up in a bun, I've got my favorite rainbow striped mask on, and the biggest clue if needed, a basket over my arm full of shopping. Politely, I told her where I thought it was, and she bodily pulled me by the arm to help her choose some glue. She was at least friendly and thanked me for helping, but every time I said I wasn't sure and maybe she should ask an employee, she just shook her head. A nice but slightly baffling "I don't work here" lady. Considering they dragged you around and kept asking for your opinion and just shaking their head every time you said maybe you should get an employee's opinion, maybe they knew that you weren't an employee and they just wanted your opinion because of some demographic you might have fit into in their eyes. You look like you know a lot about glue. Get over here and tell me which one's the best one. Our next story is by Mike_OxOnFire. I know you don't work here, fella. Wholesome and polite. If you're a Karen, pay attention. I went shopping for bits for a DIY project that my dear wife has set for me. I needed screws and roll plugs, and I have no idea what size, so I'm in the aisle looking at them, and there's no assistant nearby. I look in nearby aisles, but no luck. Then I see a guy who, based on his clothes, looks like a builder. I approach him and ask for his opinion on my quest. He looks like he's about to say he doesn't work there, when I say, "I know you don't work here, but you look like you might know, and I can't find any staff." And darn it, he helped me. I thanked him, and we both went about our own tasks. That was a wholesome thing today. Considering the precedent both this subreddit and social media as a whole has set today, if you're going to ask a stranger for help knowing they're not an employee, you definitely need to do what OP did and preface this. Come up to them completely nice, unthreatening, and be like, "Hey, I know you don't work here, but you look like you might be able to help." And a lot of times, if you do that, you might get good results. Little bit different if you walk up like, "I can't find any freaking employees around here. You look like you might know a thing or two. Get over here and tell me what I can use right for my project." This next story is by Kitty Cat Doggy Doo. I'm a child, not an employee. My daughter's 13, and her father works for a retail establishment that requires a membership card. When in this establishment today, she was standing around waiting for her sibling to get there. The first time, this mid-30s man came up to her and proceeded to check to be able to go inside. She shook her head and said, "No, I don't work here." He then said okay and walked away. He said something about it to the woman who he was with and pointed at her. She was slightly confused. She switched spots so she wouldn't get asked again. That didn't work. This 60 to 70s man came up to her and started to ask her questions about where to find something. She was shaking her head no and had to tell him, "No, I don't work here. I'm 13. You can ask my dad though." His eyes went wide and proceeded to walk away. It was slightly funny, but she was also slightly scared and confused considering she doesn't think she looks that much older than at least 15. See, the problem is, I think with people over a certain threshold and especially in the 60s plus range, it gets harder and harder for them sometimes to tell if a kid is teenage or 20. I just hope this isn't something that sticks in the kid's mind and makes them feel stressed or worried. The last thing this kid needs to be worried about is if they look old enough to be working at the door. Our next story is by Ghostface Killer's Pancake Pickup. I have a really tame story today. Picking up our Brenner order at an international chain known for pancakes, waiting for them to bring it out. Hostess/server lets me know it'll be a few minutes. They wanted to make sure the pancakes were fresh before being sent off. She walks to go take a table's order as it's a slow Saturday evening, so not many staff on at the moment. I'm standing next to the pickup area reading some no sleep when in walks a woman and her 3 kids. The woman says, "Hi there, I'd like a table for 4 please." Me, 33-year-old female, say, "Sorry ma'am, I don't work here. Just picking up an order on my way home." She looks at me, then takes in the fact that I'm wearing a gray hoodie, leggings, and have multicolored hair, but no blue apron or name tag. She says, "I'm so sorry, it's been a long day." I say understandable. The hostess went to go take an order. She should be back in a minute or 2 and will likely seat you. Made some small talk. One of her kids has an oversized fleece-lined hoodie I was looking at getting for my bestie for Christmas, and I wanted to know if it was as warm as the ad said. Then the hostess came to seat them. Nothing too crazy, but kind of normal to me to be mistaken for working places at this point. I definitely think that some people just kind of have that professional aura around them that for one reason or another makes people think they work there and make people question them. All I know is I would hate if I walked into places and I wasn't sure, am I gonna get confused? Am I gonna be grabbed by the arm and told to find what the best glue is for this person? Am I gonna be asked to seat a Karen somewhere? I don't envy it. Our next story is by LWDK2. I didn't work there, but got offered a job based on my customer interactions. For reasons I don't understand, my entire life, rando strangers always approach me asking for help. My friends and family tease me about it since most of them have been with me when it happens, and it happens a lot. Lost kids who can't find their parents walk right up to me. People needing directions make a beeline for me, etc. This particular story happened 20 plus years ago. I was an avid sewer and crafter and would make regular runs to a big chain fabric store for supplies. Once, I asked a staff member a question about the difference between 2 similar products and was told, "I don't know, I don't sew." And this appeared to be the norm for people who worked there. One time while shopping there, I was looking for a particular color of embroidery floss and found that most of the floss in the box labeled for that color was actually another color. So because I'm a tiny bit compulsive and crap like that annoys me, I put my basket on the floor and returned the strays to their respective boxes. Just as I was finishing up, a woman approached me and asked if I could help her find the right interfacing for her project. I did the obligatory, "I don't work here," but told her I'd be happy to help her if she gave me a minute to grab my floss. I picked my basket off the floor and walked over to the interfacing section with her. As I was helping her, I realized the fabric she'd picked for the project wouldn't work well, and I told her she'd probably be happier with a heavier fabric. So I helped her pick out a more suitable fabric, interfacing, thread, and other notions that she needed. As I sent her off to get the fabric cut, another customer asked for my opinion on her project, knowing I was just another customer, and I helped her figure out what she needed. As I finished up, the manager of the store, whom I knew by sight since I did shop there often, came up to me and introduced herself and then offered me the job of assistant manager. When I declined, she told me that if I ever needed a job, all I had to do was let her know and she'd hire me in a heartbeat. In the years since then, I've tried really hard to cultivate resting witch face, but it doesn't seem to be working, as people still single me out and ask for my help. You know, I never really thought too hard about it, but I realized now that my natural, scowling, depressed, resting witch face is probably a very good deterrent for people wanting to ask me for help. So to all the people out there who join me in having resting witch face, at least there's one positive about it, right? Seriously, in high school, when I was relaxing in gym just sitting off to the side, do you know how awkward it would be for somebody to walk up to me and say, are you alright? Just because I guess my face looks naturally sad or something, I don't know. And our final story of the day is by SmoothXJ40. Wearing headphones while on the clock is unprofessional. Now help me. Little information heading into this. I work in the auto industry, dealership parts department to be exact. This means I have a uniform, which is slacks, shoes, and a polo shirt and jacket in the automaker's colors with their name embroidered on the left chest. At the time of the incident, I worked for an auto manufacturer whose logo was a big T and an oval. The internal name is the sombrero. This meant my polo shirt was black with red sides and a huge red T logo along with the dealer's name on it. So here we go. Back in March, I'd just gotten off my late shift. The dealer I was with at the time was open till 7. On the way home, I stopped at Big Mart that used to be a smiley logo where the employees wear blue vests to get some groceries for dinner, along with flowers for my dad and stuff to make a cake for my mom's birthday. A lot of significant dates happen in the first 2 weeks of March for our family. When I go shopping, I usually put in my Bluetooth earbuds as I don't want to talk to people, and it helps deter those annoying cable, internet, power salespeople that roam the aisles of the store trying to sell you their crap. My headphones at the time were a pair of Adidas Adastar by Monster. They were Bluetooth with a cord between the two and a little inline controller on the right side. This is relevant later. Now, I'm in the store, it's about 7:25 p.m., and I've got my earbuds in. I'm in the baking aisle looking for caster sugar. Our Mart of Walls does carry it, and I notice something off to my right. I don't think anything of it. It's a steady evening for them. This location's always busy. I finally settle on some sugar and go to reach for it when I feel a sharp pain in my ears, followed by someone yelling at me. I turn and yell, "What the heck?" And I'm face to face with a woman, maybe 40-ish, about my height, 5'10". She's dressed quite smartly, high-heel boots, leggings, an expensive-looking coat, shoulder-length hair, earrings that look painfully heavy, yelling at me and holding my headphones. She had grabbed the controller and yanked them out, as I couldn't hear her talking at me. She starts telling me off that it's very unprofessional for me to be wearing headphones while working. How dare I talk to her like that? And that she's been trying to get my attention as she needs me to fetch her something. I snap back that I don't work there and demand my earbuds back. She responds that I obviously do from how I'm dressed and that I'm just lazy. Then looks at the headphones in her hand with a smirk and says, "You won't be needing these." Proceeds to throw them on the ground and starts stomping on them. I'm furious and start shouting at her what the freak makes her think I work here, and proceed to point at the logo on my shirt and call her a moron. At this point, a crowd started to gather at either end of the aisle to see what all the commotion is. I guess an employee had heard something and called a manager or security as someone in a white business shirt with a company lanyard around their neck comes down the aisle to break us up and see what's happening. She immediately starts going off at him about how lazy and unprofessional his employees are and how she wants to talk to corporate. He turns to me and starts to ask why I was ignoring her and wouldn't help her when he notices my shirt. "You don't work here, do you?" as he's staring at me. "No, I work at insert dealer name up the road. I'm just here to pick up a few things, and this psycho attacked me." He apologizes and asks if she hurt me, and I responded just my ears when she yanked the earbuds out and then stomped them. She starts snarling that I'm lying, I'm a piece of poop, and I need to be fired. He turns to her, picks my headphones up, and tells her that he does not approve of violence in his store, and that authorities are already on their way. Police station's a 1.5 miles from the store. He asks me to check my headphones to see if they work. Shocker, they don't. When she yanked the controller, it must have damaged the wires, as the right one cuts in and out. I say as much. We've now been escorted to the front of the store by customer service, and sure enough, 2 officers are standing by the counter. They took statements from both of us, her flailing her arms about as she gave hers. One of the officers then went with the store manager to review the cameras. The entire time we're waiting with the officer, she keeps mouthing off how I'm gonna get in so much trouble when she's proven right and innocent, and that she hopes they lead me off in cuffs. The officer with us just told her to be quiet till they were done. The manager and officer come back out after a few minutes, and the officer asks, would you like to press charges? She starts going, yes, please, officer. I don't want someone like this out in public. His response, I was actually talking to him while gesturing to me. I say yes, I would, as my ears still hurt and she broke my earbuds. She's spluttering and coughing like my little classic car on a cold morning, whining that she's the victim. They ask me if I can verify the amount the headphones cost when I bought them new, as she'll be required to reimburse me. Thank you, Big Blue Electronics Store, for online account purchases. In the end, she had to give me the $100 the earbuds had cost me new, which went towards my new Klipsch McLaren Edition T5 earbuds, and they escorted her out of the store. They gave the flowers for my father's gravesite and a cake for my mom's birthday as an apology. It didn't end there though. She called the dealer I work at, because their name was embroidered on my shirt, to complain about me and the trouble I caused her. They called me into the owner's office to tell me that I caused a lot of drama over nothing and it makes the dealer look bad, and basically to not do it again. I wasn't fired, but that dealer was a terrible place to work. Stories for other Reddit subs I haven't yet discovered. I quit 5 months later, and I've since changed dealerships to the Big Blue Oval. It's kind of too bad that OP didn't get fired over that from their dealer, because then they would have really had a good case for a lawsuit with the Karen. I mean, to be fair, if I was in OP's shoes, I wouldn't want to have to go through the lawsuit, but it would feel pretty good if the Karen got me fired to be able to turn around and immediately sue them for lost wages and for possible damages from defamation. If that dealer went around saying how awful they were to other dealerships, or they wouldn't get any kind of recommendation because of it, there probably would have been a real case there. But with that being said, that's all the time we have for today. So of all these stories I've read today, which is your favorite and why? Let me know in the comments down below. And if you haven't yet, if you could like and subscribe, that would mean a lot to me. Whatever you do, whether it's liking, subscribing, turning notifications on, all of it helps grow this channel, and I appreciate the heck out of it. So until next time, I'll see you all tomorrow with some more stories.